Our Bag Live, man. I'm glad that stuff's over. I'm glad that stuff's over. I got nothing but love and respect for everyone in the room. There were some disagreements a little bit earlier, though. Pete the Heat Perry coming on the show. We appreciate the hell out of that. Timmy, I was trying to have you read some of the stuff off of the chat room.
I don't read fast enough. That's my problem.
You don't read. You could have stopped that sentence halfway in the middle. I don't read. All right, here's all the fights that are going to be coming up in the upcoming weeks. Tomorrow night, April 17th, Prim Nevada on Showtime, on Showbox. Yorkis Gamboa, one of our favorite fighters, defector from Cuba, an insanely hard puncher, taking on Jose Cheo Rojas. 12 rounds for the vacant WBA interim featherweight championship.
You should be able to knock him out within 3 rounds.
I would probably say so, yes. Also, tomorrow night in Butler, Pennsylvania, Brian Minto against Matt Green, Paul Zalus against John Massey, and Sam Suska against Russ Niggemeyer. 4 rounds, middleweights. I kid you not. April 18th, Jesus Christ. April 18th, Manila. Top-ranked pay-per-view, Nonito Donaire against Raul Martinez. 12 rounds for Donaire's IBF flyweight title.
You haven't heard much from Donaire since his knockout of Darchinian. He's coming back here, and obviously it's going to be on pay-per-view. I'd rather it not be on pay-per-view. Gonna have to watch it at Justin's house.
Justin's our good buddy.
At least on his TV, anyways.
Yes. Ulysses Solis against Brian Valoria. 12 rounds for Solis' IBF junior flyweight belt. Johannesburg, South Africa, we've got Silence Mabuza against Yanni Perez. Minneapolis, we've got Matt Vanda against Tucker Pudwell. 12 rounds.
What are these names tonight, buddy?
The word Pud is 10 rounds at middleweights. And Jason Litzow, the All-American boy, taking on Daniel Mitchell, 8 rounds at featherweight. Peter Manfredo is going to be fighting over the border in Montreal. And next Friday night, Chicago. Amo and I will be ringside for this. ESPN2. Antonio Escalante against Gary Stark Jr., 10 rounds, junior featherweights, as well as Daniel Jacobs and Jose Varela, Ivan Popoca, Oscar De La Cruz, and Leo Martinez. And Dan Rafael will be live in the studio.
I'm guessing Daniel Jacobs is the other televised fighter there. He's been fighting in Chicago, I don't know, over the last couple of years.
Well, we've also got Deontay Wilder is going to be taking on the dreaded TBA. That's the bronze medalist from the 2008 Olympics.
Yeah, that's probably going to be it. Usually they have 3 televised fights on ESPN.
What's it?
TBA is bronze medalist?
Yeah, officially when he got his medal, they said the other guy.
But Escalante he's got caught with shoddy defense in the past, and he's always had great skills outside of that. I mean, it makes for good fights if a guy doesn't have the best defense.
What also makes for awesome fights is the crowd response to Escalante that he gets,
especially in Chicago. Yeah.
Well, we're used to the Pilsen region, in Cicero.
Yeah.
Just heavily Latino. Pardon me, and they love Antonio Escalante.
Hopefully, a couple of these fights end early, and Popoca gets put on TV. He's a rising star in Chicago.
He deserves it. The man's excellent.
And if I believe if the promoter in 8 count, Dominic Pizzoli has his choice, that's the guy he wants to get on TV.
I would say,
unless he's trying to hide him from somebody. Popoca has some skills, and he trains with David Diaz quite a bit. That's David Diaz actually works his corner in a lot of fights.
Yeah. Also on the same night on Showtime, St. Louis, Missouri, Deandre Latimore is going to be taking on Cory Spinks, 12 rounds for the vacant IBF Junior Middleweight Championship. Cory Spinks, multi-time champion at junior middle, even got a chance at the middleweight belt
against Jermaine Taylor.
Deandre Latimore, his big win came up against Sekou Powell later on last year.
Yeah, I believe that was his last fight.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's been some inactivity here with Deandre Latimore. Devin Alexander against Chewy Rodriguez, Ray Austin against Jimmy Haynes, and Deverell Williamson against our friend Carl Davis. So Carl Davis getting into the championship caliber of fighters. Carl Davis is a very large heavyweight. very tall. I can't call him all that large. He's very muscular, but this is definitely the biggest shot of his career against Williamson.
And he's not really known as being a big puncher. He's more of a boxer. So we're gonna have to see what Davis can do against a more well-known guy.
Yes. Also, Danny Williams against Ryan Pedersen, who we have seen Danny Williams. He fought on the undercard.
I believe in the last event.
Of the very last event that we were at. So he's actually trained by Jack Lowe, who also trains Kelly Pavlik, the middleweight champion of the world. John Duddy, also in Newark, New Jersey, against Billy Lyell, as well as Kasim Uma on the very same night in Newark. And with that, let's go ahead and go to our Golden Leaf Fighter You Should Know. Tonight's Golden Leaf Fighter You Should Know is Hall of Famer Max Baer. Possessing perhaps the most powerful right hand in heavyweight history, Max Baer was a flashy performer who wisecracked and clowned his way through his career. Although he never fully realized his tremendous potential, Baer won the heavyweight championship, and his showmanship entertained an America rocked by the Great Depression. Born in Omaha, Nebraska, Baer moved with his family to Colorado and then to California. He dropped out of school after 8th grade to work with his father on a cattle ranch, where he built his great physical strength doing ranch work. Early in his career, Baer trained with a zeal he did not demonstrate later. He turned pro in 29 and won 22 of his first 24 fights, 9 first-round knockouts. He quit boxing for several months after killing the gentleman, Frankie Campbell. Lost 4 of his next 6 fights, partly because of his reluctance to go on the attack. One victor, Hall of Famer Tommy Loughran, told Baer that he was looping and telegraphing all his punches. Jack Dempsey also helped him. In 33, in the best fight of his career, Baer fought Max Schmeling at Yankee Stadium after beating Primo Carnera before 60,000 fans. Baer hammered Schmeling so thoroughly that referee Arthur Donovan stopped the fight in the 10th round. Now in line for the World Heavyweight Championship, Baer fought Primo Carnera in 1934 at the Madison Square Garden Bowl before a throng of 50,000 fans. Baer knocked the giant Carnera down 11 times in 11 rounds. Baer was now at the height of his fame. He starred in a movie called The Prize Fighter and The Lady, banned in Germany because Baer's grandfather was Jewish. He lived the high life. He was romantically linked to innumerable starlets, socialites, chorus girls, and Broadway actresses before marrying in 1935. Baer frittered away the title to James J. Braddock in his very first title defense. And those of us that have seen the awesome Ron Howard movie, The Cinderella Man, we know that story inside and out. He fought with an injured right hand, and his half-hearted, joking effort lost him the 15-round decision. He had been champion for a year. 3 months later, Joe Louis demolished Baer in 4 rounds. Baer continued to fight for another 6 years, compiling a record of 30-4 in that time. In retirement, Baer acted, had a successful nightclub act, both individually and with Slapsy Max D. Rosenblum, and refereed boxing and wrestling matches. Baer's son, Max Jr., became famous in his own right for playing the role of Jethro Bodine in the long-running television comedy series, The Beverly Hillbillies. I always thought that was cool, that Jethro's name was Max Baer, and I didn't know why. It's because of who his daddy was. Born February 11th, 1909, died November 21st, 1959. 84 total fights, 72 wins, 12 losses, 53 wins by knockout. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame of Canastore, New York in the year 1995. Tonight's Golden Leaf Fighter You Should Know, Max Baer.
It's interesting to hear how that death in the ring actually affected him. Didn't really play out in the Cinderella story, the movie, to show that light of him. You know, he looked more like it didn't bother him at all during the movie. But obviously it affected him quite a bit in his career. The other thing I like about this to hear is the numbers at the crowds that he actually produced.
50,000 people.
60,000. You know, those numbers nowadays, you can't really get those numbers in the United States. Those are more for European numbers.
Yes, you've got to be, Joe Calzaghe to get numbers like that.
Or Ricky Hatton, overseas. Ricky Hatton even can't control that here.
No, very true. Well, special thanks to Pete the Heat Perry for coming on and talking a little Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali talk. Special thanks to everyone that was in the Bolo Punch Ustream.tv chat room tonight. We flared some opinions tonight. Nothing wrong with that. That's what this forum is all about.